Good morning and welcome to day 2 of the 1988 RBC. During the past 2 days, we've heard much about the success of the enterprise Prudential. We heard Jim Clark's remarks featuring the 900-pound graceful gorilla, and we heard Bill Pereiro comment on the ability of the enterprise not only to respond to change, but to thrive on it. What does the success of the enterprise mean to the public, and more specifically to our clients and prospects? The first and most immediate impact of superior investment performance is on product pricing and product performance. Actual results in the years ahead are not a function of ledger statements. They are a function of the performance of the investments backing our products. The long-term performance story is a story that we have to tell because it is the policyholder who benefits most directly from this superior investment performance. What about the image of success? Does the public care about company image? LIMRA studies indicate the answer is yes. However, lest we forget, in the Prudential operation, a buying decision only occurs after an agent initiates contact. In a very real sense, sales are 100% agent motivated. With that understood, LIMRA asked this question of life insurance buyers. What was the main influence on your life insurance purchase decision? Here's how they responded. 60% said company, 16% said agents, and 24% responded with other answers. It is clear that purchasers sought a quality company. LIMRA then asked, what were the major considerations when selecting a quality company? 39% said well-known and established. 27% said able to pay claims and meet future commitments. That's 66%, or 2/3 of the people who have described Prudential. Because quality means safety, performance, size, and stability. Jim spoke about investment dollars fleeing to quality. It's clear that the same is occurring with life insurance dollars. They are seeking the quality company. The conclusion is we have a quality story to tell, and it's a story that people want to hear. From whom do they wish to hear the story? A few years ago, it was fashionable to talk of alternate distribution channels, specifically banks, department stores, credit unions, etc. With some experience and with some opportunities to buy this way, how is the public reacting? Well, in 1985, 27% of the people saw this as a preferred way of purchasing life insurance. By 1987, only 9% of the people were interested in securing life insurance this way. What's the conclusion? The Prudential performance story is a success story that people want to hear, and it's one that they want to hear from professional career agents. That's how the public relates to the enterprise Prudential. Specifically, where do we fit in this $175 billion global operation with 160 subsidiaries, etc.? What is the position of the special agent? The industry has always maintained that the agent is the cornerstone upon which insurance companies are built. But if you think about it, the cornerstone may not be the ideal place to be. Where is the cornerstone? It's at the bottom. And once it's in place, it doesn't get much attention. The traditional structure in our industry would appear like this. The actuarial and marketing officers develop products which were then sent to the field force for distribution. The distribution system was a typical military chain of command leading down to the agent. Where was the investment department? The investment department was almost standing alone. The agency system was the cash cow, and we left a bag of money at the doorstep each night for the investment department. They picked it up, probably left us in return some sort of a receipt, kind of like the milkman who used to come and collect the milk bottles. If the marketing people had questioned the investment department with that structure, they probably would have been told, it's none of your business how we invest the money. Your job is to sell the product. This structure served us well for the first 100 years of our existence. But as we refined our marketing mission, as we targeted to upper and upwardly mobile middle-income buyers, it became clear that this system would not suffice. And a courageous decision was made to adopt a strategy called client-centered marketing. Now that term is very familiar to us today, but I can assure you that 10 years ago, it was practically revolutionary. It is a far cry from the top-down product distribution chain. If you look at our product development process today, the change is clear. Those of you who have been on advisory meetings, etc., know how need-centered our products are today. Perhaps the real test of client-centered marketing strategy came with the question of a disability product. The client-centered philosophy called for a high-quality, upscale disability product. Prudential did not have such a product, and furthermore was not interested in developing one. Skip Pease obtained permission to go to Paul Revere to get access to the quality disability products that we needed. If you contrast those decisions with a long-standing philosophy that the marketing operation existed to market the company products, you get some feel for the drama of the change. We're moving to functionalized agencies, which is probably better defined as professional practices. The traditional organization looked like this. As Skip Pease says, it's a good way to run an army, but a poor way to support a professional practice. Our agency organization is moving to client-centered strategy, which for the rest of the company means agent-centered organizations. But the real test of client-centered marketing is in the product selection process. Our range of choices, traditional with a blended portfolio, interest-sensitive with intermediate and short-term bonds, and VAL with 11, soon to be 12 choices of fixed and variable subaccounts. What makes our marketing strategy unique in the industry today is that it is both agent and client-centered. Is that a challenge? You bet. We make your life more complicated. But consider the alternatives. Consider our competition. Actuaries and home office executives make the call. It's not related to any individual consumer needs, but it is rather based on the movement of short and long-term interest rates and the subsequent changes in illustrations. When short-term rates are up, universal life is the product of the day. When short-term rates are down, there's a move towards traditional products. The client's needs are not a part of the product selection process. As Prudential agents, we have a unique advantage in the marketplace. There are some fine companies in the marketplace, but their corporate offices have already done their product and investment selection. Northwestern Mutual, for example, is a fine company with a fine traditional product. But if you deal with a Northwestern agent, whether you are young or old, rich or poor, a risk taker or risk averse, it doesn't matter. You will only see their traditional product, and the money will be invested in Northwestern's general account. When the economy changes, or when your personal situation changes, you must live with a product in which your investment strategy is irrevocable. Our strategy is that the needs, objectives, and dreams of the client determine the product selection. Every permanent life insurance contract involves two significant commitments. One is a protection element, and the second is a savings or investment element. If we recommend a traditional product, we are recommending a long-term blended portfolio. If we recommend an interest-sensitive product, we are recommending a short to intermediate term bond portfolio. If we recommend VAL, we can recommend diversified managed portfolios, short and intermediate term bond portfolios, or any of the other Prudential managed sub-accounts. What about our product edge? It is true that VAL offers incredible flexibility, but our real edge is not necessarily a product edge. It is rather a people edge. When VAL was introduced, we had a 6-month lead on the industry. We are now in the process of adding the 12th and 13th Prudential sub-accounts. Where's the rest of the industry? They're still asking, what is this variable universal life? Our client-centered product strategy is unique, and it sets us apart from the rest of the industry. But our strategy only comes to life when we utilize and present products from a client-centered planning perspective. This means tailoring solutions to the client situations based on client needs, relevant time frames, risk tolerance, and investment objectives. For example, if our client is age 45 and is concerned about accumulating funds to supplement his retirement income, it's fairly easy to relate to the specific need and time frame. Risk tolerance is usually best determined by identifying how and where the client has saved or invested in the past. The reasons behind those client decisions, together with the client's experience with those investments, usually reveals the client's risk profile. These 3 factors, needs, time frame, and risk profile, define for us the client's investment objectives. It is the agent's ability to identify the client's objectives that makes our client-centered marketing strategy superior to the competition. The strength of VAL has often been related to the client's ability to choose how policy values can be invested. But 3 out of 4 of our policyholders direct their money into either the aggressively or conservatively managed portfolios, and they rely on Prudential to make the investment decisions. The real strength of VAL lies in its ability to respond to change. Why is responsiveness to change so significant? Because change is inevitable. 2 things are always going to be changing. The economic environment is in a constant state of flux. Interest rates are going to be moving, and the stock market is neither static nor predictable. What do we also know about our client? Their perceptions are going to change, usually as a result of environmental changes. Our client's goals, needs, objectives, and situations are going to change as well over time. If we are to tailor solutions to our clients' unique problems, we've got to have the ability to respond to change. Static solutions will not work well in the long term because change is inevitable. What makes VAL truly unique is the fact that the investment decision is not irrevocable. When the economic changes occur, and surely they will, when the client's personal situations change, and they surely will, we as agents need to respond by asking those same needs questions. For example, if short-term interest rates skyrocket again and people find the economic environment threatening, we'll be in a position to respond. But we'll respond in the light of both the market change and the client's situation and needs. We've got to come back to the original needs discussion and review it again. We'll then ask the question, let's consider whether your needs or time frames have changed. Have your investment objectives changed? If they haven't, then the changes in the market should not necessarily change your present course of action. On the other hand, if your personal situation has changed, maybe it would be appropriate to change the investment orientation of the policy. We'll probably close those interviews by saying, here's what I think is best, given your current situation. But if you'd be more comfortable with, that's fine too, because the choice is yours. VAL offers us great flexibility, but the real key to our competitive edge is need-centered, client-centered marketing. To make this work, the entire organization has been realigned on an agent-client-centered posture. You, the Prudential agent, are the focal point from a corporate perspective, from an agency perspective, and from a client perspective. Our success to date and our success in the future is very much in your hands. The client-centered strategy does indeed make our lives more complicated, but I truly believe it also makes them richer. The Prudential Enterprise story is a great story to tell. It's a story of quality and stability that the public really finds important and one they want to hear from us. It's a story we hope you tell often and proudly. Thank you very much.